This is Link to the Cast, your weekly dose of video games and nerd culture ephemera, available everywhere good podcasts are sold. I'm your party host, Dave Ryan, and for the first time since Game of the Year, we're joined by our full complement. Firstly, he's the astonished platforming prodigy. He's Mark Robinson. Mark, how are you?
I've been unemployed now for nearly 2 months, and let me tell you, it's great.
Yeah.
Really recommend it.
Yeah.
Having a great time.
I think you're a month away from the window, like usually where the novelty starts to wear off. When it gets longer than a summer vacation is usually when people start to get antsy.
I mean, I've been basically like working full time in terms of making this game at the moment. So, you know, it's not like I'm sitting around playing Elden Ring for 400 hours, which I could have done. No, I'm using my time productively, but I'm, only answering to myself, which is like the best and worst situation I could probably be in.
Look, when you starts answering you back is when you have to worry. That's when you've been inside too long, mate.
Yeah, the problem is that I'm trying to stick to like a 9 to 5, 9 to 6 schedule in terms of just working on the game and stuff. But then there's like the bits and pieces with, the YouTube content and whatever for us. So I'll like on a Monday, I'll wake up at like 7 and then spend the first 2 hours doing all of that. And then it's like, I don't want to look at my PC for the next 4 or 5 hours now. I want to go do something else for a while, which is not, my time management still needs some work, but I'm great. Thank you, Dave. I'm very well.
Yeah. Also, when you get to the point where you're like, I docked myself pay for being late in this morning, so we start to worry.
It'd be nice if I could pay myself. But hey, we'll get there.
Ain't that the truth? Joining us as well, of course, the Roman Reigns of audio, the Sidona simp. I was going to say Mr. Chelsea, but that's a sore spot lately. It's Jack Lazell.
Yeah, moving swiftly on from that subject.
I'd had a fucking cracking week for the football, and so was Garrett.
Yeah. Let's just not. How often is it me in this situation? In fairness,
every 2 to 3 seasons.
Yeah, like every now and then we have a little bit of a chaos, but it is what it is.
Yeah, going on the usual Chelsea cycle, you'll win the league next year.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Hey Dave, if you were a soup, what flavour soup would you be?
To prevent myself being quickly eaten, I'd have to try and think of like a terrible one, like a really low rent French onion soup,
like oxtail and fart or something as a flavour of soup.
Now, if I was to think of like if I wanted myself to be a delicious soup, my soup of choice is potato and leek.
I am gazpacho. Oh, I am a summer soup, Dave. You should know this.
I'm now hungry, and we have a full podcast to go, so thanks for that. Rounding us out, returning to the show, he has crossed the line. He is the apex of humanity. He's Mr. Sheffield United. It's Garrett Kidney. Garrett, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you, Dave?
Succinct. Yeah, I'm good.
Because you're the host. No one gets to ask how you are, because you're always
I asked him last week. Thank you very much.
Did, and I was similarly caught unawares.
I asked him what kind of soup he was, so that's normal.
I never prepare any bits for this part of the show because I'm used to playing to the peanut gallery. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Let's all just ask Dave how he is.
Yeah, no, this is weird and disconcerting. Am I dying?
No, it's just missed the team lead with all the important stuff to do now.
Yeah, you're in Kerry. That's always a danger to any man's health.
Yeah, I got my big time promotion and then immediately took a holiday. Which is like that's the most fucking
how it's fucking done.
Billy big time bullshit you'll ever hear in your life. Yeah, things have been good. The football's going great. Things are starting to settle down in the new job because I'm still also doing my old job at the same time because they're trying to the problem with promoting me is then you have to find the new me, and while there is no new me, I am doing the new job and the old job, so that has been.
Are you also in the process of finding the new you?
Yes, not in an existential sense, but in
spiritually,
in an actual like bodies in the office sense. Yes. We're conducting interviews next week.
Dave, there's bodies in your office?
This will be the first time in my working life that I'm on the other side of the table. I'll be doing.
Oh, are you going to play mind games?
I don't know. You're going
to be asking like trick questions? You're going to be shaking your head when they say something good?
Yeah.
Are you just going to play the tape of Mankind vs. Shawn Michaels?
Will I make no eye contact whatsoever thus like robbing them of any confidence whatsoever, or will I make an upsetting amount of eye contact with them?
Never, ever break it. They look over the other side of the room, you start peering across the table.
Just have a little spritz bottle for my eyeballs so I don't even have to blink.
Dave, what you should do is actually just like walk in like a total big shot with sunglasses and a chain on, and then just sit there and look uninterested in every answer.
Has anybody, in the spirit of this, has anybody got a horrendous doing a job interview story, or what was your kind of worst question you were asked in an interview type story?
I had one in college. I had a horrible time getting work placement.
Yeah.
So I did like 9 interviews.
Schools are, because you did a teaching placement, didn't you?
Yeah, but I was fine. My school I went to accepted me immediately. That one was okay.
Yeah.
I just about avoided having to interview for other schools. I was starting that process when I dropped out, which was an absolute nightmare. But yeah, when I was in third year of college, that summer they said they send everybody out on work placement, usually paid, and I ended up getting paid as well, which was nice. But apparently every company hates me because it took like 9 interviews for me to finally get like a small accounting firm in Mallow to be like, yeah, come down for the summer, that's all right. And there was one of them where just like, they didn't ask me any questions. They talked the whole time. And then they brought me into the office afterward. The person who runs the placement program is like, they gave you very bad feedback on that interview. It's like, I didn't say anything. They didn't give me a chance to say anything.
Yeah, that's like didn't say anything. You didn't baselessly interrupt them constantly.
Yeah, it's like they steamroll me for 20 minutes. Say, do you have any more questions? I'm like, no, I didn't really say anything here. And then she's like, how's your interviews going? Getting very bad feedback. It's like, it's not my fault. I'm doing my best.
I know there was Maria told me about this once, that when you go for job interviews, the whole bit at the end there where they say, have you any like further questions, you should always have a couple of questions prepared. But like the way that she kind of phrased them to me, it was almost like you're attacking back at them with the questions to ask. But it does kind of work, because it does show that, you know, you come with a bit of preparation. And
I would say
workplace culture is always my go-to, by the way. It's like, what's the work culture here?
I would
That's
say,
something
Mark,
you don't usually address in the interview.
That is a very private sector centric approach.
Sure.
In the public sector, the response is, no, I have no further questions. Because God forbid, if you were to ask something about like pay, you would be laughed out of the fucking building. What about you, Jack? Any horrendous interview moments?
I got told that I looked like I didn't get a job because I looked too much like a student. That's what happened to me once. I had an interview at Sony. That company that make the PlayStation
through the door on your sweet skateboard.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, cowabunga, dudes. And they're like, God damn, it's 2006, mate. Fucking
man in his jaunty backwards cap.
Give it up. Yeah, no, I went for an interview, but basically it's one of those ones where I had longer hair at the time. I was working at the libraries. And, I still kind of have longer hair now, but I have a job, so it doesn't really matter. I went in, and I didn't have time to get a haircut first. A lot of the time, and I don't think it's as much of a case anymore, but a lot of the time, I think people just look purely at you rather than like what the answers that you're giving. And I think there's some people, if your face just doesn't fit, they're like, nah, I'm not interested in this guy. And none of my feedback was about the content of my answers. It was all about how I just seemed too much like a student in terms of my approach to the interview. And I actually thought like I'd walked out of there giving a really good interview, but I was just like, I don't want to work for this shit company anyway. It wasn't for like the video game section. It was just for like one of the DVD and music and stuff distribution centers. So yeah, you know, it is what it is.
I got asked in a job interview once, how would you solve a crisis between 2 members of staff? Fairly standard interview question, you would think. 2 things. I was 16. And it was for a weekend job in the Tesco bakery.
Where they often have crises between members of staff.
Obviously.
In fairness, having worked in a bakery.
They turn to 16-year-olds routinely to solve those problems as well.
Because it's mostly problems between the 16-year-olds. That's the thing.
It is, yeah.
Pretty much.
We'll stop eating the profits. let's segue quite awkwardly into what we've been watching lately. And Garrett, I have to finally compliment you to your face for a thoroughly fantastic recommendation in Double Fine Psychodyssey. That's what I finished off watching this week. I didn't quite hit it with the Greyhound out of a trap speed that you had, but I did finally get round to part 32 and finish it off this week. And it is, with all due respect to our compatriot Danny O'Dwyer, it's the best video game documentary of all time.
Yeah, it's not even close. Like, I didn't mention it when I was talking about it, but just like the construction of it as a documentary, you'd think 32 episodes, 22 hours, there's going to be a lot of filler. They're not going to be able to like construct a cohesive narrative over the course of that much content. Whereas like every episode is its own like little self-contained story, all 32 of them.
Yeah.
And it's really admirably put together, even aside from like the interesting look at the content it gives you.
Yeah. It was weird to see like everybody getting so stressed out in that studio to the point where I was actually rooting for the Microsoft buyout.
You like develop a parasocial relationship with these video game developers. So you're like, oh, I haven't actually worked at Double Fine for 6 years making this game with them. It turns out I've just watched this documentary, even though it does feel like I've been there the whole time. There's
this tell that the documentary has that I just made after about the third time I copped it. Well, I copped it by the second time, but by the third time it happened, I was just pissing myself laughing, because what you will get is you will have a scene where something happens and there will be a slow pan and zoom towards one person in the room, which is the camera move of, oh, they're about to leave.
Yeah.
And it happens over and over and over again throughout this process.
It's like The Simpsons, you can see his heartbreak in real time kind of thing. It's like that kind of zoom in.
The first time, and it broke my heart, was with that guy, Ray. Now, at least he's still there, but he moves out of being in the studio and goes off to Utah, I think it is. But yeah, it happens over and over, and it is hilarious because it's just that's the tell. That's the tell when they're going to do that. The other thing that's quite illuminating, and I think you mentioned it when you were talking about it, Garrett, is like you can see how, with the best will in the world, people in video game studios work themselves into crunch. Like they're like so vehemently against crunch, and then slowly but surely, as that date comes up, they start to work themselves into a shoot about it, and they take too much pride in their work to allow the game go out unfinished and use that to kind of justify crunch themselves. There's a great line in one of the episodes when there's like the project is finally actually nearing completion, and one of the lead level designers, the guy called Jeremy, somebody has a line to him where it's like, you need to be saved from yourself. I was like, because he was the guy about whom like people were pointing as an example of like, this guy is happily crunching and like ruining his own life, and he's not complaining about it, we're complaining about it because this guy is going to have a breakdown if somebody doesn't step in about it. It's really interesting. Boy, though, the like one of the funny things about it is what it's not even a spoiler, because from moment one that this project starts and you meet the lead on the project, Zach McClendon, you're like, ooh, this guy doesn't seem like a good fit for Double Fine and everything they stand for. I wonder how that's going to pan out. Guess how it pans out.
And you would have because it's one of the things the documentary doesn't quite cover is like, well, why exactly did he leave? You know, like the emotional reason why he left, but you don't really get like the ramp up of like, there was clearly beneath the surface of this documentary a lot more going on with Zach and the people around him. Yeah, that you only saw like glimpses of. Because
that would the other thing, I kind of felt bad for him. But there's so Zach is like the primary antagonist for like the first half of this game's cycle, and then like he has like this guy Ryan who's like his little minion, little minion who's like his yes man. But when Zach is hoofed off the project, Ryan is on paternity leave.
Yeah,
and he comes back and he's like, and like tries to stick it out for what seems like about a week, and then he's gone as well.
My favorite part of that is like he's still picking the Zack battles. Like he's still picking those fights even after Zack is gone. It's like, dude, that ship has sailed. He didn't even try to be like, all right, it's a new team, a new environment, because he came with Zack from, I think it was 2K, right?
Yeah. They worked on like Zack's main credit to that point was he was the director of BioShock 2.
Yeah, so he was like Zack's guy, and you could kind of tell before even all the blow up. It's like they don't like him either. They very clearly don't like him either.
I was like the one that I thought like I was like living and dying with like the guy James that they hire at the start of the process, who like circles the drain of being kicked out or leaving the studio because of his like him and Zack's relationship for so long that I'm kind of shocked that he wrote it out, even though at one point he was literally hospitalized during the cycle of this game. There's also, God, who was it? There's like, when Zack was there was like long-term staff members he was basically railroading out of the place without like, God bless Tim Schafer, but like Tim Schafer doesn't escape the blame, because like Tim Schafer was off in this world of like, I find leading projects too stressed out, so I'm just going to be the writer on this game and I'm going to let Zack handle all this and I'm going to hide in my office. And
but then the funny part is like every time Tim would see something they're building, he'd clearly absolutely detest it. He's like, that's not Psychonauts. Fix it. Yeah. And then he leaves to go right, and he comes back like 2 months later. It's like, no, it still sucks. That's still not Psychonauts.
Yeah. And then there was one person.
Your own Anna was that was, I think, the moment where it's like, oh, Zack is done. Where it's like, a long-term employee, someone who was beloved in the studio.
She was like there when they set up their first like warehouse office. They show archive footage of her on moving day when Double Fine opened, like.
And you talked about seeing their heartbreak in real time, because there's a moment where she's showing Zack something really cool she got the enemies to do. There's like, oh, they have these new patterns, they have these new attacks, and it's something she's clearly really excited about. Yeah. And Zack, in a way, again, when you watch the documentary, he doesn't mean to do this, but he's constantly doing it. But like, he just kind of condescendingly shuts her down. And then you get the slow zoom on her.
Yeah.
It's just like,
she's just staring at the floor.
And literally the next scene is her leaving the company.
Yeah. She was like in her head writing her notice. Like,
you literally, you will say the word. I said it to myself out loud. It's like, oh, she's gone. And then next scene, it's like, he left the company. And I think that was the turning point where it's like, I think that's probably where Tim saw, oh, this is a problem. Like, this is a problem.
Yeah, there was like a few guys leaving where he was sad. Like, he was bummed Ray was going to Utah, but at least Ray was still working there. He was bummed when a couple of other people left, but like Anna, he was like in tears that he couldn't believe that Anna was leaving. And yeah, I think that's where things start to change, because you see a lot more of Tim out in meetings from that point on. There was also, God, I can't think of who it was. There's somebody like right near the end who was like, they're one of the people that's never leaving. And then they have like, it's the most swept under the rug thing that happens during the whole thing, because it's like literally just jump cut, I'm leaving Double Fine, and acknowledges, I had a really bad argument with Tim. We have fallen out. Things were said. Feelings were hurt. And I have to leave. Who was that?
It was the bald guy, wasn't it? The guy who basically stepped in to fill most of Zack's role as like the team lead. That's not Tim doing like the creative side. He seemed to be the lead producer, taking on like all the time management stuff. Andy.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right in that, like, they do, it's one conversation again, because I said it when I was talking about it, it's not quite everything you could want. There is stuff at the sides that you're like, oh, I really wish.
With Zack, because they don't show the final, like the final showdown, like just all of a sudden there's a meeting called and Zack had gone that morning. But with Zack, you can go, I know exactly why he's not there anymore.
You can see the pattern of behavior, yeah.
Yeah, but with this guy, it felt like very rug pull, that like I could see him being frustrated, but like I couldn't see how it was especially frustrating relative to the position he was in and the time they had left. I didn't see him necessarily leaving right then and there. And just the fact that they were very eager to not talk about it, and they show them having a Zoom call where like Tim is just being really like sniping at him on the Zoom call as he's leaving.
And there's that thing which Tim openly talks about himself, where it's like, you never know how much Tim Schafer is joking or being serious.
Yeah.
And he often like couches something serious in a joke so that people don't like take him seriously. So he can do that. He can be like, "You betrayed me and I hate you." And he says it in a joking way, but there's a little bit of him that's like, "You betrayed me and I hate you."
Yeah. And Andy clearly is like, you know, I know you're joking, but I also know you mean it.
Yeah. There's some fascinating relationships. Yeah, because that's like, I don't know, less than a year before the launch of the game. It's like late 2020.
That's
isn't
like
it?
they've been in lockdown for a while.
And he's the lead producer. He's the guy guiding the ship home, and then he leaves. And the various, and like they do acknowledge that, like as I said, there's that one on-camera interview where it's like, "Oh, I had a knockdown drag out with Tim, and now I'm gone." And you don't know the contents, you don't know what was said, but
Tim, like, God bless him, like, you know, Tim has to be like have these weird flights of fancy, or he's not Tim Schafer. But some of the weird flights of fancy put these people under incredible stress. Like when he randomly decides to change things when they have no time left to change things, or the ultimate one was when Zach left, and he obviously, because he enjoyed just being the writer and not having the pressure, he didn't want to step in as project lead on Psychonauts. So he's like, what if we don't have a project lead?
And they didn't have one for like a good year afterwards until he was finally like, all right. Yeah, like Tim doesn't come out unscathed. Like you do see it's like he is like, he's the studio head, so anything that happens is ultimately on his watch, no matter what.
Yeah.
But you do see like his management style, and it's the interesting like split of like they like most of the staff are there for Tim Schafer. Yeah. Like most of the staff believe in him, believe in his vision, believe in his culture, but also that vision, that culture, that person causes them problems. Which
yes. He is one of the great creatives in the history of video games, and he has great philosophies on what video game development and what video games should be and things like that. But he is not equipped with the tools to execute his own vision of his company. Like, he needs that other person there. And like,
which is ultimately like there's self-awareness there. That's the reason he like, you can say, oh, he was trying to abdicate responsibility by bringing in Zach, but I think there was also a little bit of like self-awareness that like he says it like, my projects are chaotic and out of control, so we need somebody to rein me in.
Pretty much this entire cycle is what happened on Psychonauts 1, to the point where like it becomes a running joke. It's like, we tried so hard to avoid what happened on Psychonauts 1 that we did it again. But yeah, no, it's the best video game, like serious video game documentary series of all time. Like I obviously King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters is the greatest piece of theater based around video games of all time. But if you're looking for a documentary about actually how video games are made, there's nothing that has ever been close.
Look, you can put the qualifier, it's the best video game documentary that doesn't have Billy Mitchell.
Yeah.
And I will accept that.
And look, knowing Doubles Fine's offices and the amount of crap that's around there, I would not be surprised if there was a framed Billy Mitchell photo in the background of one scene.
One can only hope.
Yeah. But yeah, no, absolutely brilliant. Let's move on to Jack. You watched a bear do a few bumps.
Yeah, I mean, more than a few bumps. This bear was quite the fiend, linking like Al Pacino at the end of Scarface levels of cocaine. Yes, I saw Cocaine Bear. Fact number one that I love about Cocaine Bear, it's directed by Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
I can only assume because she saw the script and was like, they're making this movie, right? And people were like, nah. And she's like, no, I'm fucking making this movie. I don't know how many movies that she's directed before. I don't really think too many.
She directed one of the Pitch Perfect movies.
Did she?
I don't know if she directed anything else though.
A natural transition then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, it's no, she didn't. She produced. Oh no, she directed the second one and produced the third one.
Yeah.
So that seems like kind of her baby. Oh, she did that Charlie's Angels reboot as well.
Oh,
man
dear.
alive.
Oh, Elizabeth, what are you doing?
I watched that and I don't remember a single thing about it.
I had forgotten that it happened until you just said it.
And I saw it. I don't remember anything about it, which is a shame because like Kristen Stewart, like she's a great actress. You expect her to. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, so Cocaine Bear, just from minute one, is absolute chaos.
I mean, I'm pretty sure from when the title sequence comes up and it says Cocaine Bear, you kind of...
Oh, you know what you're in for at that point, right? You're like,
please tell me it says Cocaine Bear and then like the particles of the title disappear and there's like the sound of a bear huffing up the lines.
You see, the bear's not even that much of a huffer, Dave. The bear's more of just a straight up consumer of this cocaine. But
you do your cocaine however you want.
Exactly. The very first thing that you see is a man on an airplane. He was actually a real like basic drug smuggler, like is based on a real drug smuggler, and he's kind of preparing to drop some cocaine in a couple of bags, clearly into like a pre-arranged location somewhere in America, and as he's about to chuck it out of the plane, he slips over, he donks his head, and he falls out of the plane, and so does the cocaine in the middle of a national park in America. Right? Smash cut, the next thing we see is Christopher Hiju, or Tormund Giantsbane, as many people may know him, and his sort of young, like preppy Icelandic girlfriend, and they're on a hike, and they're very excited, and then they see a bear, and the bear is acting really weird, and it's like rubbing itself against a tree, and then the bear starts headbutting the tree aggressively, and then the next thing you know, there are limbs flying everywhere. Now, this is probably the goriest movie I've seen in quite some time. Like, they don't really hold back on any elements of showing you just bears ripping people to pieces and just genuinely really horrific things happening to their actors and actresses in this movie. There are some proper gnarly kills in this movie, so if anyone is like even the least bit squeamish, don't go and see this movie, because there's some pretty grotesque body horror things that happen to the people in the movie, and it's just one of those things where it felt like the picture perfect homage to like the 80s kind of teen set in a sort of summer camp like woodland environment slasher movie, except in this case the slasher was a bear on cocaine. I can't stress this enough, lads. That bear does a lot of cocaine in this movie. You are seeing this bear go fucking full hog.
It's a comedy horror, right? That's what I've seen it labeled as.
It is a comedy. I don't know if I describe it as a horror, because
horror in the body horror sense, though.
Yeah, the gore sense, yes. But like, it's not like Jaws, right? Where, you know, you've got like this persistent threat of a shark, but it's more to do with like the little glimpses that you get of the shark. You know, you get like little pieces and bits of information or flashes, and you know, like the shark is kind of mysterious. Like, you see this bear from minute one ripping off someone's arm piece and just discarding it. So you're like, okay, right, yeah, cocaine bear, I get it. And yeah, it's right in there. It has, like I say, that very 80s kind of feel to it, but kind of through a you know, more like modern lens. Like the film is shot, I must say, for a film about a cocaine bear, and thumbs up to Elizabeth Banks.
In all the films you've watched about cocaine bears.
Yeah, I mean, this one is definitely the best in terms of the way it's shot. She captures the environment, I think, rather beautifully. And it's, yeah, go on.
Is the bear fully CGI, or like any
it
points?
It is, yeah. It's a CGI bear. It's a CGI bear. There might be a few scenes where they kind of use a
real
like a prosthetic bear, or like
a real cocaine bear.
Yeah, I mean, the bear. Yeah, the CGI on the bear is fake, but the cocaine is real. So yeah, that's what I've heard anyway. Just like Elizabeth Banks off her fucking eyeballs.
Is it good though? That's the thing. Is it a good film?
I mean, it's just. To describe it as just simply good is probably a bit of an undercut. Also, like, one of the weirdest elements, I thought, like one of the first characters you see in the movie is Ray Liotta. I was like, oh my god, this is like one of
his last film, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
No, there's a couple of other films that he's finished that haven't come out yet. But I just love the idea that I'm just looking into the eyes of like this great actor, and I'm like, one of the last things this guy did before he died was Cocaine Bear.
Look, this is a man who has done films, and cocaine has been involved in the past. So,
look,
you know,
Jack, if I could choose a way to go out, I mean, starring in Cocaine Bear would be high.
Well, I'll tell you what's high, Dave. The bear.
On cocaine.
On cocaine. Cocaine, I believe it's pronounced.
Cocaine. Yes.
Yeah, look, fucking Clay Davis from The Wire is in it, and as you can imagine, he's having a fucking terrible day trying to fend off this cocaine bear stranded.
Does he say shit to the bear at any stage?
There is a shit, but it's not like a sheet. But yeah, he's fantastic. I really love O'Shea Jackson Jr. I think he's one of the most likable everyman actors. Whenever I see him in a movie, he just immediately makes me feel kind of like at home and happy. I think he's an underrated performer, and I would like to see him in more stuff. And he can smile, like unlike his old man, whose entire business is mean mugging. Alden Ehrenreich is in the movie. He was also very, very good in it. And it's called, lads, it's a Cocaine Bear movie. There's no real description needed. Dave's watching it tomorrow.
It's fucking Ron Seal, it does what it says in the tin.
If you want to see a movie about a bear on cocaine, this is definitely the one for you.
If you're going to see one Cocaine Bear movie this season, make it Cocaine Bear.
Exactly. I can't even stress to you, how much fucking cocaine this bear does. It's a lot of cocaine. Anyway, so great movie, just absurd. To say it's good or bad really just leaves those sort of adjectives kind of in the dust or the haze of white powder, because this movie is Cocaine Bear, Mark. That's the answer to your question. What is it? Is it good? Is it bad? No, it's Cocaine Bear. There you go. Enough is said. So if you just imagine a movie about a cocaine bear, you got that in your head. It's this movie, but with a bit more gore than that, probably. There you go.
What does this lead up to next then? Is it heroin deer?
The heroin heron.
Heron.
Yeah.
I was going to go heroin badger. That would freak me the fuck out. Those shits are demented enough already. Imagine one on heroin.
It's right there in front of us, Jack. Crack Fox.
Crack Fox. Yeah, the movie. Give a bit of money to Julian Barrett. He's not doing much these days, is he?
Yeah, no.
He was in that Bloods, is it, on Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so I give this out of 5 stars, Cocaine Bear.
A truly accurate review. Gareth, what about you?
I've been back on my Rian Johnson nonsense. Because now, instead of making whodunits, he's done the other way around. I don't remember what the name of the genre is where you find out who done it at the start. They did it? Is that actually it?
I don't know. It should be.
It should be. Where
this guy did it.
It's the Columbo format now, where he's making this TV show at Peacock, I think, which is definitely where I watched it. Where you find out immediately who does it, and then the entire episode is watching Charlie, the lead. And you kind of know who does it and how they did it at the very start. And the entire point of the show is just watching her find out. So it's a kind of classic, crime detective show. She comes into a town, there's a murder, she solves the murder, she leaves, she goes to another town. Because the first entire episode is about her. She has this entire backstory where she's now on the run from a Vegas mob boss kind of guy. So she can't stay anywhere for very long. So every episode you see her, she's she works at an arcade. She works in a retirement home. She's getting these odd jobs. And in those odd jobs, murder follows her everywhere. Which, it's the Midsummer Murders thing. It's that town has a very high crime rate. It's you'd ask yourself the question, is she causing these crimes? As opposed to that. It's a really enjoyable. It has a tremendous central performance from Natasha Lyonne, who plays Charlie Cale.
She's so great. I love Natasha Lyonne.
She's really good in this. And the show has a bit of a gimmick where like her thing is that she can detect lies. She is a human lie detector. So anytime somebody lies to her, she instinctively understands whether it's bullshit or not, which I think creates a really interesting writing problem where you have to like comb over every single aspect of each script to discover whether or not it's like, oh, actually that person told a lie to her there, so we have to change that. Or so it's like, it's kind of interesting to watch them work that out in real time in all these episodes of like, how do they dance around the fact that like, it kind of kills the premise of a crime detective show when your lead detective can know whether everybody is lying. So you watch them work around that in like really smart, interesting ways. And it's just like full of guest stars top to bottom. It is full of people where you go, oh, that guy from like bigger stars like Nick Nolte or Joseph Gordon-Levitt to like just TV favorites like Tim Blake Nelson and all people. Like every episode you'll have, oh, I love that guy in all of them, because every episode is like a self-contained with its own little story, and then she has a little arc running through them. So she stumbles across all these worlds and they solve themselves. The thing I think is most interesting about it, like most of the episodes are like 45 minutes to an hour, and the first act of every episode, you don't meet Charlie. She's off doing something else. The first act is entirely set in the world that she'll be in for this episode. So often you can go like 20, 25 minutes before the main character of the show actually shows up. Like you spend a ton of time with the characters in each episode and the world in each episode. So that I think it's a big problem when you sit down and watch a CSI where like that show's about Gil Grissom solving crimes. Who gives a shit who's there that week? There's some episodes where you get good episodes where you get like a decent villain, but for the most part it's like they did a crime, they solve it. Whereas like this show, because it can often like do like, I think one of the episodes, legitimately half the episode is without the main character being in it. So they because they spend so much time in the world of that particular episode with the characters you're supposed to invest in that episode, you kind of do. It does a good job of making you care about these criminals, these people, their stories, their little world. It has some of the Rian Johnson-isms. There's a bunch of like the thing I was talking about with Knives Out, where he's just, or the other one, Glass Onion, where there's a Knives Out has it too. Whereas a bunch of like, you know, one of the episodes is built around a right-wing radio station. It's like, dude, we get it. You've been on the internet for the last 5 years and you put it in every single thing you make now. And it's really annoying. So there's some of that, but I'm really enjoying this. It's a really great performance from Natasha Lyonne, and it's typical because it's basically an anthology show. Basically, she shows up with a different cast of characters every single week. Your mileage will vary on every episode, but there are some real good episodes, and I kind of like that they have a through line coming from the first episode, presumably to the last one. There's 9 of 11 out at the moment. I've watched 8 of them. Really good. If you like Glass Onion, if you like Knives Out, if you like any kind of whodunit or any kind of murder mystery, this will be very much right up your boat.
Excellent. As a noted Murder, She Wrote fan, I will be rushing to watch this.
Yeah, the big influence I think is Columbo. If you like Columbo, this will be right up your street.
I did love Columbo.
I
did love Columbo. I'd watch any of those. Like, I watched a lot of Quincy growing up.
We've been talking about Criminal Minds for 2 months. So.
Yeah, I watched, what else? Yeah, Columbo, Murder, She Wrote, Midsummer Murders, A Touch of Frost, Inspector Morse.
Watch any Trouble in Paradise?
Touch of Cloth. Yeah, I never watched any Trouble in Paradise.
The Ardal O'Hanlon. Anytime I see that show on TV and Ardal O'Hanlon's being like seriously solving murders, I can't help but laugh.
Obviously a notable fan of Diagnosis Murder as well. Just great. Any mid-afternoon murder mystery slop I was having. Mark, what have you been watching?
I watched the Die Hard trilogy.
Hell yeah.
Obviously the only Die Hard films that exist. Yeah, I'm kind of
4 is good. I'm sorry, but 4 is good.
I mean, I haven't watched it this run, but I will get to it at some point.
Ola Fantastic showing up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going through a kick of just watching like a bunch of films that I've not watched in ages. With this, like, okay, you know, I'm in my 30s now. I have a new way that I look at films. I might have a fresh perspective on these films, and I haven't seen Die Hard 2 specifically in forever. I feel like I've only seen that once or twice, while 1 and 3 in particular, I feel like got reruns on ITV a lot when I was younger. I feel like I've seen that one the most of them. there's no, I think, obviously, I watched this in the order of 3, 1, 2, as you would.
Why?
I don't know. Well, okay, here's the thing.
Garrett, this is what Mark does. This is what he does.
Here's the thing, right? And I realize I'm the one. I am the only person, but I prefer Vengeance to Die Hard 1. And I'm talking by fractions here. By fractions. All right?
You could have stopped. You know what? I was outraged at you just for watching them in the wrong order. You like could have stopped digging the hole deeper right there.
No, but here's the thing. Wait for it. Just. I acknowledge that Die Hard the original is the better film, in the same way that Ocarina of Time is the better Zelda game. But I prefer Majora's Mask and Vengeance for reasons. Here's the thing with Vengeance. I really like the interplay between Samuel Jackson and Bruce Willis. I think those two are phenomenal throughout in that film. I also think that what makes Die Hard and Die Hard with a Vengeance work, and what makes Die Hard 2 fail, and there's a number of reasons why, is that it's not just about John McClane. There are all of these other characters as well that are, involved in these films. And the biggest problem with Die Hard 2 is basically everyone that isn't John McClane is insufferable or incompetent, or you can tell the twist that they're actually a bad guy from the moment they appear on the screen. And like with Vengeance, everyone in that film, good guy or bad guy, they're all like competent and smart, and like you don't want to strangle them on the screen because they're an idiot. Die Hard, the original, does have that issue. Both the FBI agents, Paul Gleason's character, William Atherton, who is pretty much doing the same thing that he did in Ghostbusters, and admittedly he does it very well. They're annoying to the degree that it does work. It makes sense with the plot, but just I find that Vengeance, just because it skips all of that and just gets the, here's a really competent bad guy, here's a bunch of competent good guys, just go with that. I just find it more enjoyable to watch. I'm the one person, but I'm not saying that Die Hard is a bad film, because it's an excellent film. And certainly watching it on this rerun, like, I love the way that this film is shot. I love the way that 1 and 3 are shot, and not to put more dirt on the grave that we did for Ant-Man over the last 2 weeks, but you watch these films and like the use of practical effects and miniature effects, and obviously, like some of the green screen shots are a bit dodgy and whatnot, but just watching these films and like the fact that the original Die Hard was shot in a tower, and you're not having to deal with tricky around like shooting stuff in a studio, it lends itself to the kind of claustrophobia that you would get from being chased around a tower by a bunch of German terrorists, and like just some of the way that like the camera shoots across, and just the color tone, and just it just looks so good. It, even for a film from 1988 or 89, it still looks so good even to this day. And just the way that like John McClane, just he gets battered throughout these films, and it, that's kind of part of the charm of these films, obviously, is that from the kind of super macho sort of Arnie and Sly films of the mid 80s to a guy who's just an everyday cop. These films work so well, and Die Hard 2 just has a boring ass villain and a boring ass location, and it has its moments, but boy, you just go from 1 to 3. If you've never seen them before, you can just skip 2 and you don't miss anything.
I'm still taken aback by the
reeling.
Yeah, I
think I heard him say Alan Rickman was a bad actor in there. I think that's something.
Oh my Jesus Christ, Mark! Why would you say that?
Alan Rickman is tremendous. This goes without saying.
But are you saying you prefer Simon to Alan? Is that what?
I mean, look. Jeremy Irons and Alan Rickman are two sides of the same coin when it comes to like their characters and performances in these films. I think they're perfect. I don't know, like just the bit where they're driving around the park in Vengeance, and Samuel Jackson's like, "You trying to hit that guy?" He's like, "No." Well, that mime, yeah, I was trying to hit him. It's just great. It's great writing. It's funny. It's good quips. More good quips. More funny quips again, please, in our films.
Because of course, Die Hard 1 famously bereft of quips.
Not a
here's the
single
thing,
joke
right?
in the movie.
Here's the thing. When I say I like one thing over another, you take it to mean that I think the thing I prefer
No, that's
less
what you said. You said
is-
Die Hard 1 is worse than Hitler. I heard you. We all heard it.
Yeah. That's
Roll
exactly
back
what
the
I said.
tape.
Yeah.
Why would you say that, Mark?
I have a rubber here, and I'm going to throw it at the screen.
Try to erase Die Hard 1. Is that why you're gonna?
I'm going to go through the Batman films now, and I'm going to come here in a couple of
Oh
weeks.
god,
and,
the takes you're gonna have.
I'm going to come here and tell you,
You know
that
what,
Batman and
guys?
Robin is the best.
Dark Knight Rises is the best Nolan movie.
No, trust me, I don't need a rewatch to know that that's absurdly not true. Yeah,
I shall hold my
but I
tongue.
do like
for now.
Batman Forever. All right.
Yeah, you
The
must,
most
if you say bad things
sensitive
about
of all
those
the
Tim Burton
Batmans.
movies, I'll be so mad at
Damn
you.
it. That's
I
the
tell you
quote
what,
I was trying to get out.
I got halfway through the original Batman today, and then I had to stop to do other things. And
I saw your tweet that you've never seen that movie.
I've never seen the original Batman. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the thing with it, right? Is
I think it's because like I've gotten to the point where like I've come to accept that I'll hear you say that a lot for TV shows, because I know the whole you don't really watch TV shows. Well, until relatively recently, it was a thing that you didn't watch a lot of the most popular TV shows of all time. But I didn't attribute you to have like blind spots like that with movies as much. So
everyone's
it did
got blind
rock
spots
me
with
to the
films.
core.
Everyone has blind spots with
Oh
films.
no, everybody does, but I didn't expect that to be one.
Especially like your age is like you would have been in the prime youth age for that Batman movie.
Well, in
Yeah.
fairness, I think that year came out like I think I was 1, so I wasn't
Yeah.
quite.
It would have
was
been repeated on television all
Yeah,
through
True,
your
but
childhood.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is the thing. That's the thing. For some reason, I was never in the right slot to watch it. Like Batman Returns, I saw a bunch on television for sure. 'Cause that
rocks
was the
too.
first Batman film that I saw.
Again, keeping up the gimmick of seeing the sequels before the original.
What we do.
It's
What we
such
do.
a strong brand you've got.
Yeah, the thing with that original Batman is you can see in some places where the film has aged. Though I do think like any film that has like matte paintings automatically will hit 4 stars for me, because there's something about the charm of them, and it's one of the reasons I will happily watch like the original Star Wars trilogy, because the way they use those matte paintings, just there's a real charm and magic to using those. The same with like miniature effects as well. Like the original Batman has a couple of like so painfully obvious, oh yeah, we're using miniatures here. And even like GoldenEye a couple of weeks ago, I watched that, and the bit where the satellite dish is destroyed in Serbia, it's like, yeah, this is a miniature, but there is a charm and a magic to that you can't get with CGI effects.
Let me tell you about Star Wars. If you don't like miniatures, you're not
Yeah.
going to enjoy those.
Yeah. But it's the thing with that original Batman is it feels like a comic book film, which feels obvious to say, but we're at a point now where a lot of comic book films are an adaptation, but they don't feel like a comic book film. They just feel like
I don't know. I think in some ways it feels the least like a Batman comic of all of them.
Well, I know that the source material is butchered in a lot of ways, and it takes a lot of leverage with the source material. I think my biggest issue with it, honestly, so far is Jack Nicholson feels a bit stiff as the Joker for me.
What?
He does, honestly. He feels just a bit stiff.
Who's he going to upset next?
And
Garrett,
maybe
what's
it's
your-
just because
Garrett,
maybe it's just because I'm coming.
movies to go for that next.
Maybe I'm just coming to it because I've seen other versions of the Joker, and so this is one
Jared Leto,
version of
yeah.
him that I've not seen. Yeah, naturally, of course. But I don't know, just feels like a guy who's just here not taking this seriously because it's a comic book film. It does. That's how I see it.
I don't know.
I haven't finished the film, all right? So let me finish the film, and I'll come back to you next week and bury it some more, I guess.
Got my rocks.
It's genuinely beside himself.
Batman and Robin, original Batman.
Oh,
Listen,
my
I love
God.
Batman. I'm one of the preeminent Batman and Robin defenders, but no one could have that take.
I don't hate Batman and Robin.
It's not a broad church. I don't imagine you have to fight too many people off for that distinction.
No, like I'm a that film is actually good kind of person, but I will never say it's better than those first 2 Tim Burton movies.
Yeah.
I feel like, and this is not me, this is just, I feel like the common consensus is that the Batman Returns is like seen as, it's a bit wonky, and that Tim Tim kind of went too far into being Tim Burton with that film. Like, certainly if you think about the set design of it.
I guess if you hire Tim Burton, you get Tim Burton, right?
Yeah,
you sure do.
I watched that film a few years ago, and I would have always been like, the first Tim Burton film is better. And then I watched that film, and like, I won't spoil it because you're about to watch it. You probably don't remember the end of Batman Returns, but the end of that film,
I remember Batman Returns. I do.
Is like surprisingly poignant for a moment that is objectively extraordinarily silly. When he's carried away by penguins, it's like that is a surprisingly emotionally powerful moment for what is on the surface one of the dumbest visuals you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah. Hey,
but Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, definitely my first crush, for sure.
Hey, Garrett, my uncle was carried away by penguins, so that touches a soft spot for me.
Jack, before we move on to video games, do you want to take this opportunity to say the best Tim Burton fact?
This agent's called Bumble Ward. Bumble Ward? What kind of a person is named that? Oh, anyway. And
it's this kind of mental connection that let me know exactly what you were going to do for that money playing question a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Garrett, let's talk video games. I'm privileged to be here for the return of Garrett's Game of the Year of the Week.
Motherfucker's name Bumble.
Welcome to I stand in a JRPG for Game of the Year, baby. Octopath Traveler 2. It's actually out now as opposed to just the demo. And listen, it's not going to be a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 level me pushing it Game of the Year, but this game's real good. It's just a real good JRPG. And it's not like doing anything special. It's not reinventing the wheels. It's only like iterating on the first Octopath Traveler with a few new systems. It plays a little better, it looks a little better, sounds a little better. It does everything that game does, just a little bit better. Has like more mature stories, even though Octopath 1 had some pretty darn good stories. I covered most of it on the demo, in that like all of the systems, all of the battle stuff, all of the combat, it all just feels really, really good. And like all of the attack animations, all of the sound effects, all of that just comes together to make a turn-based RPG feel really smooth and snappy, and not just like you're picking options from a menu, even though you are in fact just picking options from a menu. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm like 10 hours in. I'm sure it'll be like 50 or 60 in the end, because I haven't even gotten all the characters after 10 hours, and there's 8 in the game, and they all have 3 chapters each. So that kind of gives you an idea of what kind of it's a slog in a good way this game can potentially be, but I'm enjoying Octopath Traveler 2 an awful lot. It's basically all I've been playing for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think this is one I'm going to get in on. I enjoyed the first one, and obviously Live Alive, huge fan. HD 2D, and you're going to get my interest.
It is one of those games where it's just like the combination of the HD 2D visuals and the just tremendous soundtrack. You will just stand still on a bunch of maps. It's just like, I'm just going to take this in for a little bit.
Does it have like Live Alive, where it's like really good HD 2D and then it has like unreasonably good looking water?
It does have some real, because a big thing in this game is that you have a little boat and you can go on the water and you can sail around a little bit. And it's basically, you can just go like find secrets and items in the water, but the water does look very good. This game looks very good. They should make these until I die.
Are you playing it handheld or docked, or a bit of both?
Mostly handheld on Switch. There's something very comfy about JRPGs in handheld mode. It's just the way those games are meant to be played. This is on PS4 and PS5, by the way, as well. I didn't know
on everything
until it came out. It was like, oh, this is out on more than Switch, because Nintendo had the marketing. So I guess that's how that works. That's why they get these marketing deals.
It's on Steam, yeah.
So
it's on Game Pass.
It's not on Game Pass.
Oh.
No, if it was, I would typically still pay for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can go play it. Like, I'm playing on handheld and it looks great, because it's an HD 2D game. It's not stressing the Switch to its absolute max, but it does look absolutely phenomenal. Great game. Really enjoying it.
I will take next. Just a couple of updates. I am back on my Elden Ring bullshit.
Hell yeah, let's do 30 minutes.
Yeah, buddy.
Jesus.
I was worried because I had taken a good bit of time off over January and February, not playing it.
Yeah, that's an excessive amount of time to not be playing Elden Ring.
You know what, though? I got back up to speed a lot quicker than I expected. I think the main thing, it's not quite like you forget how to play the game. I think the thing you forget is the patience you need. And I think like when you haven't played for a while, the thing that happens is you get instinctively greedier with enemies, and you stay in for one hit longer than you should, and that's always what gets you.
I would also imagine, like, if I had to come off of the back of playing something like Hi-Fi Rush and then back into Elden Ring, it would not go very well.
So, like, I came back and, like, not one to shirk a challenge. The first thing I did, I'm still, like, I'm going area by area, trying to get every single boss in the game. And clear them out. And this is like, also I'm aware that like the next in the line of the demigods to face is Star Scourge Radahn. So I'm kind of just like, or I'm beefing myself out, and I'm getting kind of like, I don't want that to be my first, like the run towards Radahn to be my first thing back in the game. So I'm like, right, back on this whole boss rushing thing. So I'm clearing out like northwestern Liurnia. So the first two things I fought were a dragon, and one of the crystalline duo bosses, where there's like one with there's like a sickle, isn't it? One with like a ring sort of thing. There's multiple crystalline duos in the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. So this one, there was the combo of the spear and the staff, I think. So one of them is casting spells. So like, it's basically, they are both one of them is you have to get up real close, and one of them you have to stay real far. And yeah, I absolutely made mincemeat out of those two fuckers really easily. But the dragon was I think the dragon was much more of I need to remember to be patient, and I need to remember to learn attacks and stuff like that. And kind of once I took a couple of runs at it, dying and remembering which way to run and what to do for each individual, like the dragons really, and Garrett, you correct me if I'm wrong here, they really, dragons, like there's about 3 attacks that all the dragons seem to have in the game in common, and then like each type of dragon then might have one thing it does slightly differently. So if you can beat one dragon, you can beat most of them.
Pretty much. Some of them might be more aggressive, and some of them have more health. But like usually, the attack that'll get you is the one where they go in the air and they like just breathe fire, like dragons tend to do, and that will mess you up pretty quickly. But the rest of them you can kind of dodge pretty. You get on, because it's the classic Souls thing where, like, honestly, the bigger the enemy is, usually the easier it is to actually kill, because you can get in around its feet and just mess it up.
I feel like an enemy of that size, it's kind of hard to diversify them enough, because they're so big that
you just hit
in terms of that's pretty much it. That's how most of those fights go.
It also runs counterintuitive slightly to other bosses, in as much as like other bosses, usually it's a safe bet to hit them in the arse a lot. Whereas, like, again, if you go to hit them in the arse, or even if you go to do, like Garrett was saying, if you go to hit at their feet, a few of them do have that attack where if you're too close to them, you won't see the tell, and they'll do the spin attack, and that could be a one shot. So what I learned from a guide is there is a particular attack they do, like a charging attack, where afterwards they will stay still, and you can get a crit in on their head. Because that's what you're saying. The actual easiest way, if you can get your timing down, the easiest way to fight a dragon is just to do headshots. Just to strike its head when you get those chances in between attacks, and you will like eat away at that health bar really quickly. And once I started practicing that, I was like, I made short work of that dude. So that's really cool. I've cleared out about 2/3 of the bosses in Liurnia, all the ones in Limgrave. So now I'm about 46 or 47 of the 300 bosses in the game have been killed.
We're going to come back to you every couple of weeks with this, aren't you? Aren't we?
When I'm in and out, like, I won't take too long, but I can give like just what's the boss count at the moment.
Should I do that with my freelancer mastery as well?
Yeah. Well, that's what we're going on to next. But yeah, I am determined to, like, if I always said, like, if I'm ever going to commit to one of these games, I'm going to like do it properly, like clear that fucker out. And it'll be funny because the expansion is definitely going to. The expansion was announced this week, and it's definitely going to come out and just add more shit to the game before I've even done the base stuff. But
do you have any interest in that that Team Ninja Souls-like that just came out? I think it's today.
It came out. It's on Game Pass, so yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll have a go of it.
Which one is that? Is that the Wulong one?
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah.
That's out.
Yes,
that is
it
out
came out today on Game Pass.
On Game Pass.
Yeah.
The thing is that there are games that are coming out now on Game Pass, and I generally do not remember or do not know if they were announced beforehand, if they were coming to Game Pass, or just on the day. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, Game Pass.
I guess what? Yeah. Look forward to Garrett coming back to saying he got it on PlayStation next week after we telling him.
Isn't there like a fun thing that Team Ninja is making like a Chinese Souls for Microsoft and like a Japanese Souls for Sony or something like that? They're making like a Souls game for both of them that's exclusive, but they're like set in different genres or different regions. There's something like that. I can't remember what the name of the other one is. And they made Neo as well. Like Neo was Team Ninja as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say that regardless of what Wulong is like, it doesn't sound like it will be nearly as like miserably punishing as Sekiro.
Oh, I hate that game. as a person who actually likes Souls games, and as we talk about the wall, as a person who's climbed the wall, I enjoy all those games. I enjoy the experience of those games, but Sekiro is just a mean video game.
Look,
it's just a mean, evil video game.
We had Mr. Souls on Sean McGee, and he spent a good half an hour lamenting about the misery that is Sekiro. So,
because there's also, you can get big in Souls games. Like you can just level up and you can grind and you can be clumsy and get your way through nearly every boss fight. You can't do that in Sekiro. You have to get good. You have to get actually good at the game.
Yeah. Nah. I don't think I will.
Nope, get big.
I leave the energy for Cuphead and Cuphead alone, thank you.
Yeah. Right. That leaves Mark.
So, I've been playing Kirby Return to Dreamland Redux, which, look, it's a fucking 2D Kirby game. Like, I don't know what I can say. It's if you've played one of these fucking things, you know what to expect with it. Return to Dreamland is the 2011 Wii game, which was originally going to be a GameCube game, got delayed, then got cancelled, apparently, then was announced, and then just dropped in 2011. And this is the remaster that everyone's been clamoring for, apparently. I don't know where this came from, why this is here, but it's here.
It's what Nintendo do at the end of every Switch cycle. It's just like, unleash the Kirby. Because we've had 4 Kirby games in the last year, and they just unload them.
Kirby is like the harbinger for the end of the cycle.
It is.
But you know what? Look, right? Fucking 2D Kirby games, you know what you're in for, and they're just that solid little 7 out of 10 platformer that, you know, it's a kid's game. You're not going to get the most toughest challenge in the world, but when Kirby jumps into the water and he puts his little goggles on, or he, you know, swallows up an enemy and now he can start blasting fireballs out, it's just, there is a charm to it. I don't know if it's a gimmick specific to this one, but there are certain enemies in the world that are like supercharged versions. So you'll find like the enemy that has the sword, but it's like a supercharged version. And Kirby now has like, when he attacks, he has like this giant sword that just like takes up the entire screen and wipes everything out, which is good fun. Look. It's fun, it's cute. If you're, you know, if you've got a kid that is playing games for the first time, this is like a perfect version of those sorts of games to get them to play. And it looks really nice. Like, you know, it is a remastered version. It does look very nice. It's presentation's very clean. It's a fucking Kirby game. Like Nintendo, or HAL know what they're doing with these things at this point. So it's here, and as you mentioned, we've had what? So we had the one we played. The problem with these Kirby games, it's impossible to remember what the fuck they're called because they have just completely like nondescript fantasy themed names in their titles. But we had the one that we liked last year,
Forgotten
the 3D
Land.
one, Forgotten Land, mouthful mode. That's what we call that. There's the Battle Royale thing that came out like not too long after, the sort of Fall Guys equivalent sort of thing.
Yeah, the one where you're eating food and chasing each other, which I played for like 10 minutes. Pretty good.
Which is probably what you need for that fucking thing.
It's a nice little thing they made.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a fun little gimmick, but you know, past that. And then, was there anything else, or is it just this now?
There was another one like Super Clash or something. There's always like they always churn out small little Kirby games, which is what I kind of like about Kirby. It's like you have your 2D Kirby games, and then you have your like, here's the little $15-$20 Kirby thing we came up with. Go for it. They usually release 2 or 3 of those per console cycle as well. It really is like it's the harbinger. It's the death rattle of the Switch is Kirby. He arrives and he does his like dance and the Switch dies. Yeah. that's what happens. It is nice though. We are getting like a run of good-looking Switch games after I think a year of not so good look. And partially it's because they're not the most super ambitious games in the world. But this year, like Fire Emblem, Octopath, Kirby, and Metroid Prime are all like they're good-looking games.
Well, they should just keep remastering GameCube and Wii games. That's apparently what's going to work. Because the other thing I've been playing is the Metroid Prime remastered version. And you spoke a bunch about it a couple of weeks ago, Garrett. So there's not much more I can say. I'm through most of the first Chorizo Ruins area. Just a game that immediately like sets a kind of tone and an atmosphere about it. That even for a game that's like 20 years old, and obviously, this being remastered, it looks a lot nicer, but just sets an incredible kind of level of atmosphere from the get-go. And there's all these little touches, like the way that, if you come up to a wall and you hit something and you get that kind of quick reflection of light and you can see Samus in the visor in the kind of reflection, just little bits like that, just all these little touches to this game that are incredible. And it plays like a Metroid game. You go to the area, there's a bunch of places you can't go to, so you have to go off and find whatever else and then come back. But it's all in a self-contained area, so you can't really get lost. It took me a while to get adjusted to using a 3D map. And the controls for it are a bit unwieldy. I didn't look to see if there's a way to switch the controls around, but like for all of the great work the game does in terms of porting this to a modern control setup, the map controls, some 2 hours later still can't remember which way is to turn it and to push forward and blah blah blah. Like 3D maps that are kind of wireframed are not the easiest thing to navigate.
I don't think games should have them. I think they always stink. They always stink. Even the good ones are like, it would be easier to navigate this in 2D.
Yeah, I mean, it helped enough to know that I needed to go from like point A to point B, but it's still not perfect. And the other thing about this game that I forgot, because I haven't played it in forever, this game really wants you to scan everything.
Well, yeah, that was the thing where it's like Retro were like, we're making this cool first-person shooter. And then like Nintendo popped their heads and it's like, hey guys, we love this scanning idea. Yeah. You put that in. And what ultimately ended up with is like the middle ground of a game where like a lot of the atmosphere and like flavor of the game does come from that scanning, where it's like they do build a full world there because you both have to and can scan nearly absolutely everything. So I do think that's where like the heavy emphasis on world building and atmosphere kind of came from, in that like, all right, we're putting this scanning mechanic in the game, so we have to make it at least somewhat worthwhile to scan all this shit. And it's kind of the happy medium between the cool first-person game and then the weird Nintendo game about scanning.
But like, I lost about half an hour because I got stuck, because in the first area, there's a sort of central pillar room that you kind of climb up going around it. And there's a bit where there's these 2 blocks of sandstone that you can only clear out by this point you've got the morph ball ability back, and you've got the like bomb explosion when you're in morph ball form. And part of it is on me. I should have realized that, I've collected this, I'm probably going to have to use this at some point. But I also forgot at this point, because I wasn't really scanning once I got out of the kind of prologue area, so I completely forgot about scanning. So I wandered around the entire ruins for about half an hour, 40 minutes, not knowing where I was meant to go. Then at some point I remembered, I think I scanned something by accident, and I was like, I can scan shit. Eventually got back into that room. I was able to scan and figure out, this was very simple. I can just use the bombs there. So it's like, it's on me. I should have remembered that, this game does want you to scan everything. And it's not like, you could have accidentally just stumbled across being able to clear those sandstone using the morph ball bombs. But it was annoying enough. And surprisingly enough, I don't know if the original does this or it's just in the remastered version, but after about half an hour, I got like a sort of like an incoming call sort of alert where it basically just went, oh yeah, the source of the poison here is coming from this thing over here, and it pointed to the map and said, like, this is where you need to go. And it was basically the game saying, all right, you've been fucking around for half an hour. Clearly you don't know where you're going. Here's where you need to go. And I don't know if the original did that or if it's in the new one. And I appreciate, like, you know what? Half an hour is a reasonable time that if the player clearly doesn't know where they're going.
I think someone would argue almost excessive amount of time. It's like, listen,
you
half an hour, he's been fucking around for, it's like someone on your shoulder. It's like watching you from above. It's like, all right, tell him, just tell him.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I can accept that. That's a reasonable amount of time to guide me in the right direction. But yeah, Metroid Prime, funnily enough, really good game. If I was being me, I should have found a way to play the third one first, but here we are.
Yeah, that's why they didn't release the trilogy, actually, just to sabotage you and your way of playing games.
I gotta say, though, honestly, like, because I don't feel like 2 and 3 are going to be that much different in terms of the kind of core mechanics and whatnot. And I don't know if I'd want to sit through a trilogy of those games in short order. I feel like that would be a bit excessive.
Yeah, assuming, 4 has to be out next year, right? Like, my theory is...
Garrett, you're funny.
We're like 4 years since it was rebooted, and then like 6 since it was announced. So, but like my thing, I still think it'll be a cross-gen game. It'll be a Switch 2 launch game and a Switch game. I think it'll be the Breath of the Wild the launch. And
you say that, but Metroid is like consistently over the years has been kind of one of the worst selling kind of core Nintendo IPs. So it seems weird that would be the one, and like, you know, it's how it's ended up that Tears of the Kingdom is coming now, but it seems like it would be kind of weird for Metroid to be that one.
I don't think it will be the only one, because I would suspect like Odyssey 2 is launch window.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be strategic. I just think it'll be, by the time they're finished that game, it'll be just like the way it happened with Breath of the Wild. It's like they didn't intend that to be to a Switch launch game, but by the time that's finished, it's like we're releasing a new console. It should be cross-gen. And I think it'll be the same thing with Metroid Prime 4. By the time that's finished, it's just let's just make it cross-gen.
Yeah, I guess I just consider with Zelda just because Twilight Princess did the same thing as well. But no, it's a fair point.
Right. I guess there's definitely no other business on this show.
Show over. Let's go. We're all going home.
Yeah, we'll all leave. Definitely there hasn't been a segment burning a hole in someone's pocket for 3 months.
It has been 3 months.
Honestly, I had this so perfectly timed out, right? And then we just apparently just couldn't all get together on it. We got so like burnt out after Game of the Year.
No, we've been working you. We've been doing a rota so that you can't do this.
In fairness, I have also been part of that rota because I took 2 weeks off as well. Yeah. So, you know.
So really it's your fault.
It absolutely, I will take that. But I am here, yeah, so I put together a very, at the time, timely segment that now does seem out of place. But, you know, it's either...
I hope all the questions are super dated.
They're all about January.
No. It's either that or we wait 4 years to do it again. But no, we're going to do it now. I've put together a 5-star match game style quiz about the modern era of the World Cup for you three gentlemen.
Oh, fuck.
Super timely.
You could just say, I have decided Jack is going to get congratulations for winning something.
Hey!
And then roll end credits.
Dave's quiz 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Dave Ryan, you have more credit in yourself. You have more confidence in yourself. You're a man who knows football.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm also a man who's aware that there may not be a living, breathing soul that knows more about it than Jack.
Well,
I know enough to know I'm fucked.
We will find out. I feel like I've put together some interesting style type formats for these questions here. Yeah. So we'll jump in to round one.
Everyone's got European teams except me. I've got exclusively questions about Algeria.
So I should point out,
answer them. I've seen his notes for these tournaments we do. Fuck it, he'll have them.
I should point out this is going to be exclusively about the modern era of the World Cup. So this is going to go from 1998 to 2018. So nothing before and not the one that just happened.
Great. That is anti-Irish bias that you've taken out 2 of the 3 World Cups we've been in.
Oh, welcome. For round one, for the first round, I will give you 4 teams from a group in a specific World Cup. You will need to tell me which tournament that particular group was from. The teams will be named in the order that they finished in the group, so they'll go from first, second, third, and fourth. A correct answer is worth 1 point, and there'll be 5 questions per contestant. So as an example, if I was to say Germany, Ireland, Cameroon, Saudi Arabia, hopefully you would respond 2002.
2002.
That's 2002, guys.
Thanks, Garrett. Cheers.
What's the date range on this again? It can be from
1998 to 2018.
Is any one of the questions going to be what day of the week did the Ireland Cameroon game happen on? Because I have this, I don't know why, but I remember it happened on a Saturday. Give me the point right now.
Spoiler: that is not a question I have in this quiz. But Dave, you are going first.
Fucking brilliant, yeah.
All right. So your first group. Brazil, Norway, Morocco, Scotland.
That's easy.
Jack, I'm telling you now.
No, I'm not having this. I'm not having this lad shit talk me.
I mean, okay, it's like right away.
Hit me again.
Brazil, Norway, Morocco, Scotland.
Wasn't this World Cup?
Well, it doesn't
we
count.
Didn't qualify. Haaland got to have a month off.
I'm also upset you didn't add 2022 questions, given how long we've been waiting for this.
Yeah. Let's just say 2018 for the fuck of it.
No.
Unfortunately, it's 1998.
Yeah. Oh, are you not going to throw the questions to anyone else?
No,
he will fucking not.
Jack, there is no need to get your regular level of competitive for a quiz that everybody listening to this and everybody participating in it knows you're going to win.
Okay. All right.
Garrett, your first one. Sweden, England, Argentina, Nigeria.
Oh, come on.
2010?
That's 2002, I'm afraid.
Oh, well.
Jack.
Yep.
Your first one. Paraguay, Slovakia, New Zealand, Italy.
That is 2000 and... Because New Zealand, that's 2010. New Zealand actually drew every game in that group and then released a DVD that said unbeaten. It's like, you didn't actually win a fucking game, lads, but you drew everything and then you had the audacity.
Mark, I just want to draw you back to a more simple time when you said, don't doubt yourself. Jack knows the name of the DVD compilation that New Zealand put out after this World Cup.
I mean, Dave, that's on you for not knowing it.
I would have gotten that one because I watched the New Zealand Slovakia game in between exams during the leaving cert, where I think I did Irish paper 2 in the morning and then did business paper 1 in the evening, and just
that sounds like a wretched day.
And sat there in between instead of like studying or cramming. I watched New Zealand and Slovakia draw, and they got an A1 in business. So clearly, it's the best study strategy imaginable.
So blessed that I did my leaving in 2007 in between a Euros year and a World Cup year. I couldn't imagine.
Dave, back over to you. Switzerland, France, South Korea, Togo.
Switzerland, France, South Korea, Togo. Oh, 2006?
He is correct. He's on the board for a point.
Yes, I had a feeling. That was the pomp of Togo.
All right, Garrett Kidney, question 2. Colombia, Japan, Senegal, Poland.
Well, that one's tough. That's the first one where I'm like,
2018?
Oh, he's on the board as well for a point. Good job.
Well done, mate.
It was a blind guess. I didn't achieve anything.
You achieved a point.
Thank you.
Jack.
Yep.
Netherlands, Mexico, Belgium, South Korea.
Netherlands, Mexico, Belgium, South Korea. That one's tough as well. Netherlands, Mexico. Mexico get through in every World Cup. Belgium out in the groups.
I'm going to have to push you for an answer.
Yeah, time him out.
Yeah.
You know what?
Boo.
I'm going to go 98 on this one as well, I think.
That is 98, correct.
Boo. Gave him a month to get it right.
Dave Ryan, question 3. Germany, United States, Portugal, Ghana.
Ah.
You stop it.
Wow.
It's like Waluigi over here.
Wow.
Wah.
There'll be no questions about Wario in this.
Wah. Very important difference. Waluigi is wah. Wario's wah.
Thank you, Garrett.
Welcome.
Germany,
Waluigi.
United States, Portugal, Ghana.
Think of times Ronaldo would have cried during the World Cup.
Was it 2014?
It is 2014.
Yeah, that's what the giveaway was, because that was the group on the way to winning it.
I was trying to think, like, I was ruling out 2002 because they were in our group. I was ruling out 2018 because I remember they had to score that goal against Sweden. That lovely free kick. Yeah. So just narrowing it down.
Garrett. Spain, Ukraine, Tunisia, Saudi Arabia.
The Spain and Ukraine stays mainly on the plane.
Insane in the
Garrett,
Spain brain. Insane in the brain.
We all went places there.
We did. 2014.
Unfortunately, that's 2006. Jack.
Yep.
Mexico, Italy, Croatia, Ecuador.
Mexico, Italy, Croatia, Ecuador. I want to say 2002 on this one.
You would be correct.
Yeah, because remember Mexico beat Croatia in that opening game, and everyone was like really shocked by it at the time.
All right, we don't need the life story for each one of these, Jack. Right, let's get to moving.
You invited the wrong man to a quiz.
It was like the last ride of that Suker Boksic like Kovac team, you know.
All right, Dave. Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Iran.
In Portugal, Morocco, Iran. Is that 2018?
That was 2018. Yeah. Correct.
That was the 3-3, was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Garrett. Nigeria, Paraguay, Spain, Bulgaria.
2010.
Unfortunately, that was 1998.
Well.
Jack. Colombia, Greece, Ivory Coast, Japan.
Oh, blimey. 2014?
That is correct.
Yeah. Do you know how I remember that? I believe that it was Ivory Coast versus Japan was that random 2 a.m. game. Do you remember there was one game that was on like
I remember
o'clock?
me and you talking at the time being like, you know, I love football, but I ain't staying up.
I don't love anything enough.
2 a.m. Was it 0-0 as well, that game?
It was, yeah. I think it broke the streak because wasn't there a goal in every game?
Every game, yeah.
All right, Dave, this is your last one for this round.
Grand, yeah.
Germany, Ghana, Australia, Serbia.
Hit me with that again.
Germany, Ghana, Australia, Serbia.
2010.
That is 2010. It's 4 out of 5. Good job.
Yeah, because I remember they didn't have a great performance against Australia, the Germans, and the English pundits were like, this German team aren't up to much.
Do you know who was worse though? England.
Yeah.
All right, Garrett, your last one for this round.
We drew 0-0 with fucking Algeria, and we were cracking on like we were going to beat Germany.
All right. Spain, Chile, Switzerland, Honduras.
2018.
That's 2010.
2010, yeah. Last time Honduras were in it, I think.
Do you remember Mark, our housemate Dan, decided he doesn't like football, but he was going to super commit to being a Honduras fan without knowing anything.
Honestly, I can respect a bit like that.
Without knowing anything about them. He started calling them his mighty Honduran Panthers.
Big Wilson Palacios skit, I've heard.
Yeah.
All right, Jack, let's see if you can make this 5 out of 5. Your last one. Germany, Ecuador, Poland, Costa Rica.
Germany. 2006?
It is 2006.
Yeah. That was the was that the Philip Lahm goal?
Yeah, that was their opening
And he
game.
absolute fucking chaosed it into the top corner like 10 minutes in against Costa Rica.
Yeah.
All right, so that is round 1 done. And we are at Dave with 4 points, Garrett, unfortunately, with 1, and Jack with 5. But it's all to play for, so let's not...
I don't think it's all to play for.
It's all to play for.
There's maybe
partly to
2
play
people
for.
who could win, and then a third person who's also here.
Third person who's happy for the opportunity.
Yeah, tagging along.
All right, round 2.
Hot dog and a handshake, brother.
This is you have a chance for this one because this is just a yes or no round.
Yes.
So you got half a chance here.
I'm going to get
I
all
will
these
give you-
wrong.
I will give you a name. I simply want you to tell me if they have ever won a World Cup. You will get 5 questions each, and they're worth 1 point apiece. Garrett, I'm going to start with you for this round.
Mm-hmm.
Your first player is David Trezeguet, or David Trezeguet.
Surely.
That would be correct, yes.
He's probably
1998.
198, yeah.
Yes. Dave
Star
Ryan.
of Euro 2000 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Dave
Got
Ryan.
the winner.
Your first one, Marco Reus.
The crux of this is basically were they happened to be injured during the tournament in which the country won.
I think Marco Reus missed the World Cup that they won. I'm going to say no.
He's right.
That would be correct. He was injured for 2014. All right, Jack Liesel, your first one. Massimo Otto.
Yeah, part of the Italy squad in 2006, I believe. So that is a yes from me.
That is correct. Perfect from all 3 of you. Well done. All right, Garrett, back round to you. Your second one. For Italy, Giorgio Cellini.
Yay. Ooh, you. I made many noises right
Interesting things happened to you there.
there. Yeah.
No way.
Wario really went on the journey there.
Sat on a
No.
thumbtack.
Was that no?
I've decided on no.
That is correct. He wasn't part of the team squad till 2010.
Yeah.
All right.
Because what
Dave
threw me
Ryan.
there was like the Euros, and I was like, who's in the Euros, right?
Yeah, he won the Euros.
Which is the reason I started on
Remember that
yes
was-
and veered.
I remember that's how I would have remembered, because I remember there was a big deal made in the run up to that final that like he was just too young to have been with the World Cup generation, so this was his only chance to ever win anything.
All right, Dave. For Brazil, Denilson.
I want to say yes, 2002.
That is correct. Spot on. All right. Jack. Raul.
Raul,
Let's
as in
go see Raul.
as in the Spanish Raul.
Yes, as in the Spanish one.
Yeah, no.
Correct. Yes.
He said yeah and no. That's cheating.
He said no.
No. Yeah, he was a he.
You did
he
it
was,
again.
I'm pretty sure. Like, I think that was in his kind of twilight years.
Yeah,
and
he was only there till
David Villa
2006.
had his shirt for that World Cup.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Fernando Torres played a bit as well.
So we're all perfect so far. So well done. All right, Garrett. Your third player is for Brazil, Jose Kleberson.
Oh,
Cleverson.
yes.
That is spot on. 2002.
I will never forget seeing the teletext headline: Manchester United sign World Cup winning Brazilian. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it.
And then it was Cleverson.
We spent the whole summer linked to Ronaldinho, and that's what we fucking got.
All right, Dave. For France, Johan Cabaye.
No.
Correct. Jack,
Newcastle
also for
United
France,
legend.
Thomas Lamar.
Thomas Lamar. Yeah, he would have been part of when they won in 2018. So yes.
Correct. 3 for 3 across the board. All right, back over to Garrett, your fourth player for Germany, Joshua Kimmich.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's no.
Not for
He-
me.
I've
Mark.
ruined it everything. Oh, thanks, Jack.
All right. Dave. Christian Carambeau. Christian Carambeau.
I don't know what that
Caribou,
means.
yeah.
Does that mean no or yes?
That means a player.
No, I said no.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said who.
And you just said his name again.
Sorry, I thought you said who.
Oh, he was definitely in the 98 squad, no?
He was in the 98 squad, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Jack, for you, your fourth player for Brazil, Fred. The old one, not the new one.
There's been at least 3.
As in the shitty striker one?
I believe so.
Yeah, absolutely no chance.
He's done it
So
again.
you're saying no.
Just before Garrett says it, he said it. He's done it again.
You're
He said,
saying
yeah,
no.
Okay, all right. Very specifically, I'm saying no.
Okay,
He
okay.
wasn't part of the 2002 World Cup winning
I'm going to
Brazilian
start
squad.
rolling back the tapes, Garrett. I wonder has he been doing this for every quiz?
Yeah, he's been
It's
saying
just
yeah,
like-
no to every yes, no question.
Yeah.
It's a scheme.
It's a resounding
You're
no
correct.
from me, Mark.
You're correct there. So, all right. Garrett, your last one for this round. Adrian Rabiot.
Oh. Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately, no, he wasn't at 2018.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Was he not?
Nope.
I really thought he was. I'd have got that wrong.
Remember,
in
he had
fairness.
the big falling out with everybody.
That's typical of French.
Yeah. Dropped.
Rabiot is Rabiot.
You can't have a tournament without somebody having a big
Philippe
falling out with
Auclair would
somebody.
say.
Okay, Dave, your last one for this round. For Spain, David De Gea.
No.
Correct.
Big
And
Dave.
Jack, last one for you. Juan
Jesus.
Mata.
Jesus lives, Dave saves.
Mata, he won the
The little
Euros
look into
when-
the distance you did after saying that.
I think he won. Yeah, I think he was. I think in 2010 he was, but he didn't play much. But I know he set up a winner in the Euros 2 years later. But yeah, I think he's in the 2010 squad. So yes, is my
Correct.
answer.
Yes, you are right there. He was part of the 2010 squad. That's it for round 2. Garrett, you got 3 points. Dave, you got 4, and Jack got 5 for that round. So total scores there. Garrett, you are on 4. Dave, you are on 7. And Jack, you are on a perfect 10 at the moment.
I am doing very well for a reasonable human level of sports knowledge. And that's all I'm playing against in this.
All right, this could be an interesting round, both in terms of the questions and also both in terms of my pronunciation of some of these players. But
I
here we
can't
go.
wait. I can't wait.
Round 3. I will start by naming 2 players that appeared at the World Cup. I would like you to tell me which football club that they both played for. If you answer correctly, you will earn 3 points. If you don't know, I will give you a third player for which will be worth 2 points for a correct answer. And if you're still unsure, I will give you a fourth player for a chance for 1 point.
In which I will still get it wrong.
However,
Does that mean they were playing for the same club when they were
all
at?
played for the same. They played for the same club, but they weren't there at the same time.
Oh right, okay.
Basically,
However,
here are 2 World Cup winners. What club do they have in common?
Yeah.
well, not World Cup winners, just played at the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
However, an incorrect guess at any point means that attempt is over.
Okay.
We all clear? We all good?
Mhm.
Yeah, gonna keep all of those answers in my head.
All right. Dave, I'm going to start with you. Actually, no, Jack, I'm going to start with you for this round because you haven't gone first yet.
Yeah.
All right, your first 2 players are Brian Ruiz and DeMarcus Beasley.
Fulham.
That is incorrect.
Oh,
I'd love to
Which
be able to
means that-
steal.
No points for you on that one, I'm afraid.
oh my god.
You also had Dennis Romidale and Memphis Depay.
Yes, PSV. I entitled
PSV.
It is
then,
PSV, correct?
I would have
yes.
also very confidently said Fulham, Jack, you're fine.
That's a Brian Ruiz Fulham legend, but I knew DeMarcus Beasley was PSV icon.
All right, Garrett.
He played for in the UK. Someone I can't remember.
Your first 2 players are Eddie Lewis and Pontus Jansson.
Keep going.
Your third player is Robbie Keane.
Spurs.
No.
Unfortunately not. Your fourth player is Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
I have the wrong Spurs. The wrong Janssen. Who was the terrible flop Janssen at Spurs?
Vincent. Yeah.
Vincent Janssen.
Fucked by Janssens.
The correct answer there was Leeds United.
Yeah. Leeds.
All right, Dave. Your first two players are Edson Brafield and Dedrick Boyata. I really hope I got those right.
Give me another
It's whether or not you're a gambling man, I think, on one of those.
You want a third player?
Yeah, go on.
All right, Georgios Samaras.
Jesus. Oh, I actually know the answer now.
Repeat all three players?
Just for my pronunciations.
Yeah.
Edson Brafield, or Brafeed.
Brathide?
That would be more like it. Dedrick Boyata and Georgios Samaras.
Is it Celtic?
Damn it.
It is Celtic, yes. Well done. So that is 2 points. Okay, Jack, we are back round to you. Your first two players are Bernard and Mariusz Lewandowski.
Bernard.
Yep.
Bernard.
Is he the geezer that used to play for? Is he the geezer that used to play for Everton?
Should have just been called Bernard.
Mariusz Lewandowski. Fuck me. This is in the modern era.
Assuming it is the Brazilian Bernard. Just love Brazil national team for periodically having players named Bernard and Fred.
Oh God, I might need
this starting 11 is too Brazilian. We need the cast of Coronation Street in here somewhere.
God, I don't know. I might need to request a not because I'm
the pain in his voice asking for another player.
Notice the speed at which I asked for another player earlier versus the agony of Jack asking for another player.
I think it's because it's. I think it's the Brazilian Bernard. So
Bernard.
Oh God. Oh Bernard. Thinking he didn't play for.
You're gonna have to start penalising this guy for time.
Yeah. Give me another club.
Okay. All right. Your third player is Eduardo Alves da Silva.
As in Eduardo, like the striker who used to play for Arsenal.
That's giving him a lot of hints.
Yeah,
if you were to say yes or no on that.
You have to know who the player is.
Hey, would you give me one of the clubs that could possibly be the answer to this?
Now we know how he wins all these quizzes.
We're wise to your ways now at this point.
All right, look, it's Eduardo and Bernard for sure. Both played for Shakhtar, so I'm going to go with Shakhtar.
It is Shakhtar Donetsk. Very good.
I think Jack is clearly being exposed.
Who the fuck is Mariusz Lewandowski, by the way?
Eddie and Bernard.
He is the Manchester City of quizzes. We should revoke all his titles at this stage. Yeah. We've exposed his cheating ways.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on a second. Where did I cheat in that?
Before this turns into a riot, Garrett,
who gives a full Brazilian name though? Like you don't say like Edson Arantes dos Nascimento.
Right.
For
Why
Pele.
does he just give you the answers? It's like it's some sort of fucking quiz or something.
Yeah, God forbid he give you more detail.
Children. Garrett, your second question here.
It's starting to feel like Garrett 2 weeks ago now.
By the way, that was hard though. You got joking aside, that was fucking tough.
Right, joking aside, will everybody please pause to give me credit?
That's what I want. Give me my fucking credit, you slags.
You'll get nothing and like it.
Mark just desperately wants to say some footballer names right now.
Kidney.
Yes, sir.
All right. Leonardo and Christian Zapata.
I don't know. Keep going.
Thiago Silva.
How do I just say a club? Give me another.
Filippo Inzaghi.
Just a commentary from Jack, just to rile up Garrett Moore. Very easy.
I don't know football clubs. Real?
Stanislas
Unfortunately,
United.
It's AC Milan.
Well.
If it makes you feel better, Garrett, I would be doing significantly worse than you are at the moment. So
thank you.
Take that for what it's worth.
It is bias against the club I support having very few World Cup players. We had one this time and you're not even doing this World Cup. That's outrageous.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, Dave. So
I don't think
Philippe
Illiman and Jack
Louise,
has played for 4 clubs, so we might not fit in this.
Dave Ryan.
Yes.
Your first 2 players
Sorry,
are
Mark.
Philippe Luis and Maxi Rodriguez.
Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
That is correct. You
So
also
easy.
had Diego Forlan and Fernando Torres. All right, and we are round to our last group of players here. Jack, starting off, you have Matthew Amoa and Nelson Valdez.
What the fuck, man?
Look, I spent at least an hour scoring through Wikipedia trying to get these players together.
Mark, can I just say, you've put in some great work and it shows.
Unlike a certain Dave
I'm not
Ryan, this is a well-constructed quiz. Well done.
I'm not going to moan at you for a quiz I'm winning in.
Look, Nelson Valdez. The thing is, do I ask for another one? Oh, God. Are you trying to fucking troll me into my guess?
Fulham hasn't shown.
Am I?
Fulham really does have me shook. Look, Nelson Valdez, Dortmund. Fuck it.
Again, Borussia Dortmund.
Correct.
Your other 2 players were Thomas Rosicki and Mikai Batshuayi. I think I got that right. Yes, it's
Mishi
Dortmund.
Batshuayi. So yeah, the answer's Dortmund. Come on. Fucking have it. Oh.
All right. Garrett.
Who the fuck was Amoa, by the way? No idea who that guy is.
Okay, Garrett, for you, your last club or players. First of all, you have Lee Carsley and Thomas Gravesine.
Everton.
Oh, yeah.
Everton, very good.
I've got to be honest with you, right? Oh my
Here he is. Here he is now.
Once again, Mr. I guessed it and won last time too. I'm going to get outraged at you, Mark.
Yeah. And now
I guess
not,
one
not
in
content,
one. I have one moment, and Jack is so upset at it.
Yeah.
He has to tear me down.
Not content to complain about the quiz I'm winning at, I'm now going to bury the guy in 3rd place for getting points.
Yeah, God forbid. God forbid.
I am burying Mark Robinson because that is
Mark,
the last 2.
Mark, you're doing a great job and you look great this evening, I must say.
Thank you very much. I am the handsome conduit, so it would make sense. All right, Dave, your last players here. First of all, you have Rafael Marquez and Thomas Lamar.
Oh,
I feel like I got to take the swing just to try and keep Jack honest. Barcelona.
Yes. Come on.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's Monaco.
Yeah, it is.
It's Monaco.
Yeah.
You also had Oliver Bierhoff and James Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Oh, Oliver Bierhoff would have actually made it harder for me.
I wouldn't have got it till James, so I've only really lost 1 point there.
If you know what? If you'd have said 3 of those and put Bierhoff in there, Mark, it would have made it harder than with the 2.
Yeah.
Because I do not remember Bierhoff at Monaco.
All right, well, at the end of round 3, Garrett is on 7 points, Dave is on 12, and Jack is on 15. So it is all to play for still.
It's not.
Literally doubling my points.
So for round 4, this is the listing round. Here, I will give you a number, which will be then leading into a question. That question could be, name all the countries that have won a World Cup. You will then have to bet if you can name as many as you possibly can. If you say 4, your opponent can then say 5, and you go back and forth until someone determines that they're going to go forward. Points are, if you win correct, if you get the correct answer, you get 2 points. If you fail, your opponent gets 1 point. I hope I explained that clearly enough. If not, go listen to the 5-star match game because they did a better job there.
Shout out Justin Shapiro.
Just edit in Joe Gagney saying the explanation.
Garrett, because you are in last place, you are going to go first against Dave. And your numbers are 14, 7, and 16.
Go 7.
7. There are 7 players that can say from 1998 to 2018 that they have won the Golden Boot. How many of them can you name?
None. 2. 2. I can name 2.
Dave, would you like to increase on that?
3.
This will end one of 2 ways. Me either challenging Dave on an easy one so he can get it, or me embarrassing myself on a high number and not getting it. So we'll just challenge Dave and make him name some people. So Dave, name 3.
Dave, name 3 Golden Boot winners.
I could not name 2.
Okay. Ronaldo, the original.
That is one. Yep.
Diego Forlan.
That is 2010. Yep.
He said,
if I win a point on this, I will be so pleased with myself.
yeah, I know. I'm starting to really second guess myself now.
Oh man,
you need one more.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
you're welcome.
That. I can't believe.
I'm like shifting in my seat right now.
Cheers, mate. Yeah.
But the pressure's different, isn't it? It's like if I'm under the barrel, but yeah.
I like the trail off of that thought.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to gently nudge you along here for a third answer.
Could not, but yeah, I mean, like the level of abuse for me if I was taking this side.
Kylian Mbappe.
Unfortunately, that is not correct.
Yeah.
It is for 2022, though.
2022,
yes. That's I forgot it wasn't 2022. Fuck.
Right,
as soon as I said it.
Dave, you could have also had David Sukar, Miroslav Klose, Thomas Muller, James Rodriguez, and Harry Kane.
So Harold of Kane, how could you forget?
Very well.
I would actually sooner not take the point than acknowledge Harry Kane.
Well, this is what I thought. I thought you were going to get that right, but get it right without saying Harry Kane, and then say, I could have said Harry Kane, but fuck him anyway.
Yeah. Interesting fact with the 2010 one, Diego Forlan was level on goals with Wesley Sneijder, but ahead on assists.
Indeed. Okay, Dave, we are going to stick with you. You have the numbers 14 and 16.
14.
14 teams from 1998 to 2018 can say they have reached the semi-finals of the World Cup. How many can you name?
Start off right in the middle, 8.
Jack?
I will go 9.
Look, we can pointlessly just list them, Jack, because he's gonna have all of them. There's no like
you can push him in.
Then you should have made him name 9 of them, all of them.
No. Yeah, all right, Jack, you have got to name 9.
You worked yourself into a shoot, Dave.
No, he's good. It doesn't matter how far I pushed him; he has them. I know the man I'm playing here.
So 2018, right? So third place playoff was Belgium beating England.
He remembers the third place playoff. Literally,
could probably tell you the scores too.
In fairness,
the game in the World Cup is designed to be forgotten.
Dave, he's English. All right, we are both going to remember that. Come on now, even I remember that.
So then France beat Croatia 4-2 in the final.
It's already up to 4.
Previous World Cup, 2014, Germany beat Argentina in the final, so that's 6. I want to say it was Holland who won the third place playoffs, but I can't remember against who. And then previous World Cup.
You're putting Holland in that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm up to 7?
You are up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep.
So then Spain beat Holland, but we've already said Holland. Already. Germany were third place playoff in that.
Which World Cup are you on?
2010.
Oh, yeah.
They beat Uruguay. So Uruguay.
Giovanni Bronkhorst.
Yep.
He's already hit 9.
Yeah. Yep. You've hit 9 there. Others that you could have also picked from were Brazil, South Korea, Turkey, Italy, and Portugal.
Yeah. I was trying to see if I could actually go back and do the... Yeah.
You did take that joy from him, Dave, so well done.
Yeah. Who did Netherlands beat
that's
in
the thing,
2014?
is like if I pushed him all the way, he just for every one he named, there's the smugness level would have gone through the
roof. Take a little bit of smugness away from him. That's our main aim here.
I just should have said name. I should have just started at 2 and said name it,
just to make a dirty loss for Jack.
Yeah.
Or dirty win.
Please do it in your category.
Try to make him feel as bad as he can about winning, which is impossible, I think.
One.
All right, so I'm just going to put that in there. So, Jack, it is your turn. You are left with the number 16, which is there are 16 teams that can say they have qualified or won a match in the World Cup on penalties.
Ooh.
How many of those 16 do you think you could name?
5.
Garrett.
6.
Jack.
7.
Garrett, do you want to contest?
I'll just say 8. Just gonna start naming countries.
Jack, back to you.
Go on, Garrett.
All right, Garrett, you need 8 teams.
All right, Germany.
Germany is for 1.
Surely won many penalty shootouts. Have England ever won any?
What's the deal? If he says one wrong name, is that it? Or is it
This is a series of blind guesses based on probability, Jack Lazel.
Go on, Garrett. I actually want him to do it. To
Spain.
Be fair.
Spain, yep.
Correct.
Italy. They've dragged people to a 0-0 penalty shootout.
Italy.
They won the World Cup on penalties.
Yep.
France.
France, yep, they're in there.
98.
The Netherlands.
The Netherlands are in there as well.
Yeah.
That's 5.
Subbed on the keeper.
You're on
Subbed on the
5.
keeper to save some pens.
Argentina.
3 more. Argentina in there, yep.
Yeah, beat England.
Just say Brazil.
Yes, Brazil are in there as well. You need 1 more.
Won the final on
there's
penalties.
so much. Oh, this is agonizing.
Oh, wait, that was 94. Go on, Garrett. Go on, son.
Portugal.
Correct.
Portugal
2006.
as
Yeah,
well,
blindly
yes.
naming countries.
What up, mate?
You
Which
could have also...
in a different way, also made it less special for Jack because you took all the skill out of quizzery.
No, I'm proud of him. He smashed it.
Just going to quickly make sure that's in... Okay, cool. You could have also had South Korea, Ukraine, Paraguay, Uruguay, Costa Rica, Russia, Croatia, and good old England.
I was scared of England because of their propensity for losing penalty shootouts.
beat Colombia in 2018 on pens.
Good old Gareth
Dyer
Southgate.
was ultimately.
All right, so that is the end of round 4, and the scores are currently looking. Garrett, you have made it to double digits. You're on 10 points. Dave, you are on 12. Jack, you're on 17.
Let it be noted,
final...
as the only person who got 2 points in that round, I won that round.
Mm-hmm.
I won a round. So,
Gotta give it up to him.
Our final round is a quick fire round made up of 9 questions that are worth 1 point for a correct answer. Garrett, as you are in last place, you are going to go first.
wait, so I'm on 10. What's Jack on?
Jack is on 17.
Oh, I can catch him technically. Okay.
You could catch him.
I'm now invested.
You could catch him. This is what I like to see. This is the passion of live sports. All right. Okay, Garrett, your first question. Who did Spain defeat in the semi-finals of the 2010 World Cup?
The hot Netherlands.
Sadly, it was Germany.
I know.
Iceland and which other country made their debut in 2018?
It's... I'm trying to not be disrespectful to a country by saying it's Slovakia.
Unfortunately, it's my favourite Van Halen song, Panama.
Okay.
Who scored the
Never
opening
said
goal of the 2006 World Cup?
I would be fascinated to see the number of countries you would have asked me to say before I would have said Panama. Closer?
No, it's Philip Lahm, as we discussed earlier.
I don't pay
Who
attention.
won?
I've already lost,
Who won
by the way. I can no longer catch Jack. I'm now thoroughly unemotionally invested.
Who won the Best Young Player Award at the 1998 World Cup?
98. Who was good after 98? Who was around in 98?
Fuck, I know who this was.
I don't know.
It was Michael Owen.
Yeah.
What was the significance of Laurent Blanc's winning goal against Paraguay in 1998?
It was a golden goal.
It was the first golden
The
goal.
first ever golden goal, yeah.
Who is the all-time goal scorer at the World Cup?
Who is it these days? Is it still Thomas Muller? Was it ever
No, it's
Thomas Muller?
Miroslav
Oh, it's
Klose.
Klose. It is
No, it
Klose.
was Miroslav Klose.
Yeah. Klose. See, Klose was my first instinct, and I switched to the wrong jersey because I know Klose was like top scorer at
he overtook
Ronaldo.
Who has the distinction during this period of winning the World Cup as both player and manager?
Deschamps.
Correct. Who captained England in 2010?
Rooney?
No, Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
Who won the goal of the tournament in 2018?
I know who this was.
Yeah, I think
because
Mark.
I know Mark's obsession with this.
Yeah, Mark loves this.
It's a fucking great goal, all right?
Oh, it really is.
I don't know.
The only good thing he's ever done.
He used up every ounce of his talent in this one shot. It's a big bag of shit before and after.
It was Benjamin Pavard.
Yeah.
Come and have a go if you think Pavard enough.
All right, that means you, at the end of that round, you got 2 points, so you finish this quiz with 12 points, Garrett.
Yep.
Ooh, so I need 1 point to definitively finish second.
Correct, yes.
They're high. They've never been higher.
5 points to catch up with Jack.
Yeah. Can I just say, the nation of Ireland is on a combined 24 points right now, so I feel good about that.
Yeah, sure, all right.
And actually, we have half of Jack's points too.
Yeah, fine, fine.
Yeah.
Well, no, Jack has 6 of your points then. So.
No, not how it works.
No.
Okay.
No.
Dave.
Actually, we should get bonus points for you bringing up painful memories of colonialization.
All right, Dave, your first question starts now. Who was the only England player to convert a penalty in the quarterfinal shootout against Portugal in 2006?
Oh, fuck. Was it Gerrard?
It was Owen Hargreaves.
Owen Hargreaves. Oh.
What was the final score?
Dearly until he stabbed me in the back.
He was the best player on the pitch that game. He was fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
What was the final score in the 2014 final between Germany and Argentina?
The final?
Yes.
Final score after 90 minutes?
Just the final score in the 2014 final between Germany and Argentina.
1-0 after extra time.
Correct. Which pop star performed at the opening ceremony of the 2018 tournament?
Great question.
Was it Pitbull?
No, bafflingly, it was Robbie Williams.
Oh, it was. Yeah, sorry. Pitbull was 2010 with Shakira.
Yes.
Yeah.
Waka Waka.
With the giant dung beetle and R. Kelly.
Yeah.
A very well-judged opening ceremony in hindsight.
Yeah, I mean, that aged great, didn't it? Like a fucking glass of milk.
Yeah. All right. Which nation is the only one to top the FIFA World Rankings without ever winning a World Cup?
Is it Belgium?
Correct. Which club did Antoine Griezmann play for during the time of the 2014 World Cup?
Teen World Cup. Why am I completely blanking where he was? I'm just going to say, with full-throated confidence, that I'm wrong, Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, don't overthink that one. It was LA.
It was Real Sociedad.
Yeah, it was before. It was 2018 he was at.
24? No, he definitely played for Atleti in 2014.
Maybe he moved that summer.
During the time of the 2014 World Cup.
Ah, okay. I would have guessed Atleti for that as well.
What was the score between Ireland and Saudi Arabia in their final group game of the 2002 World Cup?
3-0.
Correct. How many individual goal scorers did Spain have during the 2010 World Cup?
Fuck me, that's a hard question.
7.
No, it was only 3. David Villa with 5, Iniesta with 2, and Carlos Puyol with 1. The 2006 round of 16 match between Netherlands and Portugal is also referred to as the Battle of
Nuremberg.
Correct.
Yeah.
1998 FR Yugoslavia.
By the way, if no one's seen highlights of that game,
I watch it once a year.
Pop some popcorn and throw that shit on YouTube, my friends. It's a fucking fist fight with a ball that rolls past every now and then.
1998 FR Yugoslavia would appear at the 2006 World Cup under what name?
Would appear.
It's a geography question more than it's a football question.
What were they known as in 98?
FR Yugoslavia.
And you're talking 2006 then?
Yeah.
Was it FYR Macedonia?
No, it was Serbia and Montenegro.
Yeah, Serbia and Montenegro.
All right, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So, Jack, I'm sure you're going to want to do your questions anyway.
I think we should end Jack's won. Congratulations, Jack, you've won.
Don't give it to him. Don't give him the victory lap. Do you want to give another 9 questions to Garrett?
All right, Jack, you have 9 questions. You're on 17 points. You've already won, but you know what? We're here, so do your victory lap. Question 1. Which sports brand supplies the balls for every World Cup?
Adidas.
Correct. Who managed Belgium prior to Roberto Martinez at the 2014 World Cup?
Mark. Fucking. What's his name? Mark Wilmot.
Correct. Who provided the headed assist for Robbie Keane's famous equaliser against Germany at the 2002 World Cup?
Oh, I don't actually think I remember this. I'm gonna go with Matt Holland.
Okay. Can I? He won't get the point, but can I give Jack a hint for this?
Sure, go for it.
You may have heard the story that I once saw this Republic of Ireland footballer take a drunken piss in my local pub.
I don't remember that.
So it's Niall Quinn, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Niall Quinn.
It's also it's Irish football. If we lump it up to somebody that's headed on, it's always Niall Quinn.
Head it down for Robbie Keane.
Yeah, you know
it's
what?
never not Niall Quinn.
You've
I should have thought about that more. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. What animal was the 2014 mascot for Lecco?
Brazil.
Brazil's not an animal, Jack. Just saying.
No, I was going to say that.
Yeah, you have to take his first answer, Mark.
Fleco. Some sort of dog. I don't know.
No, it's an armadillo for reasons I don't know.
I like armadillos.
Who was the 3rd place winner in 2002?
That'd be South Korea.
No, that was Turkey.
It was Turkey.
Oh, did they beat him?
Rush 2.
Oh, mate.
Who holds the record for the fastest goal scored in a World Cup game?
That's a tough one. Is it still Turkey? Is it Hakan Şükür?
Same game?
It's yes, it's Hakan Şükür.
Yeah.
The 2018 World Cup set a new record for what?
Attendance?
No, own goals.
Yeah.
Oh.
What was the score at half time in the 2014 Brazil versus Germany semi-final?
5-1. No, 5-0, sorry.
5-0.
Yeah, take his first answer there.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Who scored Italy's winning penalty in the 2006 World Cup final?
It was... Was it Fabio Grosso?
Oh, he gets it there at the last second. Yeah. Yes, Fabio Grosso. That gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 points for a final score of 21. And Jack, you are the winner.
Still lost Ireland on 24.
Those were properly tough as well, those. I like it.
There we go.
I did not remember that the mascot of Brazil was an armadillo. Blimey.
You know, the 06 mascot was a lion named Golio, and he had a football called Pila. If you'd asked me that, I would have been able to tell you that.
I think you'll find the mascot for that World Cup was Paul the Octopus.
Yes.
Paul dead? Probably dead, right?
Yeah, he's definitely dead.
Of course. Come on now.
How long do octopuses
In 2006, the mascots were the English Wags.
That's it. I'm done. I'm tapped out.
This is 3 months in the making, baby.
3 months in the making. Was it worth it? Fucking right it was.
I appreciate your commitment to still doing it after writing it, even though it's long out of date.
There's literally been a World Cup since.
I put at least 3 hours work into putting this together, and I'm not letting those go to waste.
Yeah, just out of shit, I'd do the same thing.
I was really hoping that, like, after all this, Jack's last question was going to be, what was Kelsey Grammer's name in the movie Money Plane?
And it would lose me all my points.
Such a good bit.
Oh dear. All right, there you go. You can end the show now, Dave.
Well done.
Thanks. Someone do a wrestling quiz for me. Give me something I know. Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I would lose the fuck out of a wrestling quiz, by the way. So yeah, if anyone wants to throw that out there.
Like,
says Mr. One technically on a wrestling quiz 2 weeks ago.
You won a wrestling quiz 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about?
I mean, you soft served me the multiple choices on that. I think I probably would have got 1 or 2, maybe at most.
Thank you everybody for listening to another action-packed edition of Link to the Cast. Mark is absolutely spent. Well done to him. Thank you for putting together that, buddy. If you want to follow us, come up with different quiz ideas or anything, at Link to the Cast is where you need to go to check us out, to check out the new shows as they're posted and the stuff we're talking about, etc., etc. Individually, I'm at The Day to Dave. Mark is at Lithium Project. Jack is at Jack Lazell. And Garrett is at Garrett Kidney. Thank you very much for listening. We'll talk to you again next week. Bye-bye.
Football.